This is a weird one in more than one way. It's really a bit of a baffling mess. So it stars Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, which is why I was initially interested in it. Then I saw it was getting terrible reviews, so I took a closer look and noticed it's written and directed by Stephen Knight. Now the name didn't ring any bells, but it should have, because a few years ago he made a movie called Lock with Tom Hardy, which I loved, and he's made 2 TV shows I really liked too. Peaky Blinders and Taboo. And he's written a bunch of solid movies too, like Pawn Sacrifice and Eastern Promises. I even kinda liked Burnt and Allied. So this guy's made a lot of stuff I've enjoyed. But this thing was also out on streaming about a month after the theatrical release. So I figured it's probably not gonna be good, but it's worth giving a shot. The ingredients are there for a good movie, you know? Maybe it's just misunderstood. And well, from the opening shot I was kinda stunned by how terrible it was. The intro is like straight from the 90s, mostly because of the score. I mean, the score in this feels so cheesy and dated, it's pretty incredible. And the dialogue didn't help either, it's about as corny as it gets. And the editing? There are some really strange choices made in the editing room. So yeah, first impressions is that this is a mess, but a sort of enjoyable mess. It felt so incompetent that I couldn't help but to enjoy it. Oh, and when Anne Hathaway shows up, she chews the scenery like never before. She basically channels her best dame from one of those noir detective stories. It's all so strange and adorable, and nothing makes any sense. But what's the movie about? Well, it's about a fisherman. He's got a bit of a Moby Dick situation going on. He's obsessed with this big tuna. And then his ex shows up and things get a bit, well, complicated. And I don't really want to say much more than that about the plot. Because the confusion and the bizarre nature of it is part of the fun of watching it. And it keeps getting more and more strange the further along we get. Until about halfway through when there's a bit of a twist. Or reveal, I guess. And things start to actually make a little bit more sense. I mean, it's dumb, really dumb, don't get me wrong. But it explains a lot of things. It doesn't make sense why anyone would write a story like this. But it makes sense in the context of the story itself. There's definitely some sort of internal logic to this, so I gotta give it that. And I also noticed that it's actually fairly well shot too. It looks decent. And the shots are mostly well composed. But the editing and the score? Jesus. Speaking of which, there are these terrible flashbacks all the time too. It was kinda driving me nuts the way this thing was put together. And the whole premise of the story and the way it's structured. I mean, it's so convoluted and complex for no reason. There are way better ways of telling a story like this. And it honestly feels like 2 completely different ideas mashed together. Like he had an idea for this one story and then this other story. And the 2 don't really have anything in common and are basically different genres. But he decided to superglue them together into this very strange beast. And the end result is a genuine mess. But I can't say I didn't enjoy it on some level. Mostly for all the wrong reasons and because of how bizarre it was. But I definitely wasn't bored watching it. It kept me entertained. So there's that. I mean, it's a baffling movie, and I don't know how you'd even come up with an idea like this. Or why you'd decide to make it, or how you'd get financing for it. But I've seen far less enjoyable movies, so I can't hate on it that much. But would I recommend it? As long as you know what you're getting into, absolutely. If you expect a genuinely compelling drama, with McConaughey and Hathaway, stay away from this. So maybe check it out, maybe don't. I'm not your dad. But I am trying to sell out, so consider liking, subbing, hitting that bell and supporting me on Patreon. Because I really need to get myself a real nice fishing boat. And hey, why not drop a comment below or check out another review? I'd appreciate it. Thanks.